yeah! Do you know what time it is? It's time for the Fears Podcast! That's right. That's right. That's right. It's time for the Fears Podcast. Hope you guys are having a good start to your weekend. Alright. I don't have any coffee. So I'm going to go get some coffee. Alright guys, it's time to rock and roll. Yo, yo, yo. Fears. Audience. Fears. What up? Alright, time to open up that chat, because I have no idea what you guys are saying right now. Let me open up Z chat. Welcome to the Fears Podcast. I hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are literally doing fantastic. Is Fears doing fantastic? Well, I'm tired. Yo, pretend stories. He says, yeah, buddy, dance it up. Dive rolls. Nah, I'm not really in a dive roll mode tonight. My legs are killing me. For a reason. And I'll tell you guys that in a minute. Visions! Lord Visions, where are you? Visions. We got 2 people watching. Now we have 3 people watching. Hopefully Visions knows that I'm streaming. I told him I was going to stream. So, shout out to Pretend Story. Shout out to everybody else watching. Shout out to The Weekend. Cheers. Yeah, I'm not in a... oh, by the way, I got a healthy snack here. Grapes, as always. Trying to eat more healthy. I just wasn't in a diving forward roll, mood. I normally dive into a forward roll to get my coffee, just to make you guys laugh. I just wasn't feeling it tonight. My legs are killing me, though. But I'll explain why. So, got a few updates. The first update is this. Booyah! So, I was at my library, and sometimes they just hand out books, like free books, or they ask for donations. They ask for donations. So I donated $1 and got this book, and it's The Visitor's Guide to Florida, because Fears has got so many more attractions to check out. Now again, I don't know how old this book is, so if it's super old, I'll probably just redonate it, I'll redonate it either to my church, or because my church collects books too. So I'll either donate it to my church, or I'll redonate it back to the library. Because I would rather have it up to date. But since it was only $1, I was like, well, let's see. So, and I thought this was kind of funny. They also sell it in England. And in England, it's £8.99. So £8.99. So that is equivalent in America. That is equivalent to $5.99. Around that. It's around that. Because Fears knows his British money, because I've been there 500,000 times. All right, but basically, it gives touring areas So it'll tell you all the great places to go to in Greater Miami, the Florida Keys, the Everglades, Tampa, and the Gulf Coast. Orlando, the heart of Florida. The Gulf Coast, Northeast Florida, the gateway to space, which I'm really looking forward to. I went to Kennedy Space Center like once or twice, but I was a kid. I was like 4 or 5 years old. I don't even really remember it that much. I remember parts of it, but yeah. The Panhandle, Florida Pact File. So, yeah. The only bad thing about this book, though, is I'll probably never go to Greater Miami because that is a long drive, guys. That is a long drive. That's like from Orlando to Miami. I think it's a good 5-hour drive. So I don't know if I'll be going to Miami anytime soon. But because if you go, you know, you got to drive there. Then if I drive 5 or 6 hours to get there, right? So I'm probably going to like have to get a hotel, you know, stay there for a couple of days. Because if I drive all that time, I'm not just going to stay for like Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to stay there for a couple of days, like 4 or 5 days, and make like a trip out of it. So I can check out some really good, you know, tourist attractions. So I don't see that happening anytime soon because I would rather go home. I would rather go home and visit all my friends, my family, than to go to Miami, you know? Miami will always be there. And plus, I've been there before with my mom and my dad, like once or twice. So I'm not missing much. But I'm going to try and look in this book and see other tourist attractions. So, yeah. Because I've always wanted to go to the Florida Keys. I've always wanted to go to the Everglades and you know, shit like that. So it's on the to-do list. It is very on the to-do list. So I will look through that book. And what's cool is it gives you like all of the directions, and it gives you the address. So that's kind of what I want to look at, because I want to see how old this book is. Because if I go to that place and that place doesn't exist anymore, then I go, all right, time to throw this book out because I got it at my library, you know, secondhand. And I would rather just go online and buy a new Florida, you know, Florida's Guide. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see how good this is. But hey, it was almost for free. Or actually, it was for free, but I'm a nice guy. And I was like, you know what? I'll donate $1 to, you know, to my library. Because I go there all the time and get movies and I read books and stuff. Yes, Fears reads. Not all the time, but I do like to read every once in a while. The last time I read a good book, I read a Shazam book at my library. That was really good. I like Shazam. Not as much as Superman, but I like Shazam. So, Pretend Stories, it was a good read. Let's see, the book that I read before that, I read about Robert Englund's life. You know, I read his biography. So that was kind of good. That was kind of cool. And you know what? It was so good, Robert Englund's biography, and they have it at the library. I may go check it out again and read it again because it's so good. It was so good. And it wasn't just like him talking about like him being Freddy. There was a lot of Freddy in it. There was a lot of Freddy in it. There was a lot of Freddy in it, but it also talked about his life. So yeah. Joyboy says, you got into an argument at your library? No, I didn't get into an argument at my library. Why would you say that, Joyboy? No, Joyboy, I think you came in at the wrong time. I did not get into an argument at my library. I was telling everybody that I got this book at the library. They do a lot of donations at my library. So whenever they get a new haul of books, right? So they'll get a new haul of books. Well, they need to get rid of the old ones. Well, instead of just throwing them away, they'll put them on a rack that says, free books, take as many as you want. Or there's another rack that says, donations are accepted. So you can just take a book, right? But I was like, you know what? Like, I just don't want to take one. So I was like, I'll be a good guy and I'll donate $1. I didn't get into an argument. I don't know what you're on about, Joey. I mean, Joy Boy. That's not an argument. So I donated $1. My discrepancy about this book is I don't know how old it is. So I wouldn't want to, you know, here's all the addresses. I wouldn't want to go to one of these addresses and then it's not there anymore. So I was telling Pretend Stories that if this is outdated, I'll either donate this book to my church, because my church takes book donations, and because they give books to like needy kids or like needy families that like to read, or sometimes they ship books across the world to other countries. My church does that, and the library also does that. So if my library doesn't want it, then I could just redonate it back, to my library, and just go online and buy a new version of the Florida guide, because there's so many tourist locations that I have not got to go to. Like Joy Boy, I was telling everybody in here, it has locations of Greater Miami, the Florida Keys, the Everglades, Tampa, and the Gulf Coast. Orlando, the heart of Florida, the Gold Coast, Northeast Florida, the Gateway to Space, the Panhandle, Florida Fact File. So they've got a lot. Booyah! So it's got a lot of stuff, and I think this is kind of old, because I don't ever remember seeing these cartoon characters at Universal Studios. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how old it is. We'll see how old it is. No, I came in midstream. Sorry. Oh, that's fine. I just wanted to let you know. I was not arguing with anyone at my library. Everyone that works at my library is very nice people. They are the nicest staffed ever. Like, if you need something, they're like, "Oh yes, how may we help you?" And I'm like, "Oh yes, I'm looking for this." So, and then I was telling everybody, Fears does like to read. I do like to read, but it has to be something really, 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 really interesting for me to sit down and read. I prefer movies more, but I do like to read. Like, I was just telling Pretend Stories. The last two books I read at the library, I picked out a Shazam book. It wasn't just a comic book. It was like an intense comic book. It had a lot of dialogue in it. So, and it was like 95 pages. So it was a long, thick, big comic book. Read the Shazam book. It was epic. Epic. I was like, man, I would read that again. Then like a few weeks ago, I returned the Shazam book, and they're like, "How did you like it?" I was like, "Oh, I thought it was great." And then I went. I love reading about people's lives, especially in the movie industry. It kind of inspires me, and it inspired me. So I was like looking through. I was like, "Well, who could I read about?" Boom. I had no idea. Robert Englund, the guy that plays Freddy. Well, he hasn't played Freddy in quite a while, but he has played Freddy like 7 or 8 times. The last time he did it was in Freddy vs. Jason. And I was like, oh, I had no idea he even made a biography. So I was like, all right, I said, I'll give that a read. And at first I thought, oh, the whole thing is going to be just nothing about his adventures as Freddy. Granted, there was a lot of it about Freddy, but the whole thing was not about Freddy. I thought, oh, this book, it's going to be nothing but Freddy. And I'll be honest, half of it was about Freddy, and then the other half was about his life. And that guy has done and seen all. I had no idea. I forgot. He did 2 episodes of MacGyver. Like, not the new MacGyver, the old MacGyver. The one that Fears loves. And I was like, oh shit, that's right. I forgot that he was on MacGyver. He was on that show V. Like in that old 80s, and he did like 5 or 6 episodes of V. I mean, he was on there like a lot. So I was like, I had no idea. So he's lived a pretty incredible life. So, will Fears ever get to have an autobiography? I don't know. Probably not. But I gotta say this: if I ever did an autobiography, all those classic stories that Fears has been telling you? Oh yeah, all those classic stories would go in there. Well, as many stories as I could possibly remember, I would tell about the lows, the highs. I'd tell about everything. I would sit down with an offer and go, "Hey, are you ready for a hell of a story? All right, let's get a Mosian. Let's get a Mosian. Let's do this." So yeah. Anyway, I better message Visions, because I said, "Hey man, I'm gonna stream," and then he was like, "Oh sweet dude, when are you streaming?" I said, "I'm gonna get something to eat. I'm gonna take a shower, and then I'm gonna make some coffee." So I said, "Give me like 30 minutes." And so, but he's not here. Yo, heroes and villains, what's going on? Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. Heroes. I'll be honest. I was so tired. You know your Mario Kart stream, your newest one. I watched some of it. But man, I was so tired. I fell asleep. Yo, Pixel Protocol, Lord of the Pylons. And he says, "Yo, heroes, blunt time." Oh shit, you guys are about to pop out a blizzy. Well, you guys can blizzy it up. You know what? But I have nothing against my friends that smoke. But Pixel, just be careful, man. I worry about you, man. Pixel does a lot of stuff. Pixel, like Pixel's told me, I'm not trying to like out you, Pixel, but Pixel's told me that he's done acid and, you know, he smokes and he drinks. I care about you, buddy. Just be careful. Just be careful, man. Pretend Story says, Fears, you got to sit down and write it. But you know what? Pretend Stories, I'll be honest, I don't think I'm worthy of a biography yet. I've done a lot of cool things, but I don't know if it warrants a book. Now, granted, one day I would love to see my novel, the novel that I'm working on. I would love to see that come to life. That would be great. I don't remember who it was, but someone told me that I should write Fears Man as a book. And I was like, now that would be interesting. Fears Man as a novel. That'd be nuts. Pretend Story says, why you ratting on Pixel? I'm not ratting on Pixel. I'm just saying I worry about Pixel doing all this stuff because he's my, you know, I consider Pixel more than a friend. I consider Pixel like a brother, you know, like Pixel's like a brother to me, you know, and he's my friend, you know, so. Yeah, see, that's some crazy stuff, Pixel. Like, I've never messed with acid. I've never messed with mushrooms. Never messed with weed. None of those are dangerous. Weed is number one. I don't know. Acid and mushroom, isn't that kind of... That would be... I would think that would be dangerous. That's just me, though. But just be careful, Pixel. It's not ratting someone out, Pretend Stories. It's showing concern and worry. Because I'm always worried. Like, when Pixel said he went to Vegas, I was like, oh, Fears, man, like, I went in this, like, museum, and, like, I was on a whole bunch of stuff, and I was like, oh, shit. I'm like, Pixel, just be careful, buddy. I'm like, don't end up dead, you know? So, it's from the heart, you know? I would do the same thing if Heroes said, hey, Fears, guess what? I'm on this, and this. I'd be like, oh, shit. I'm like, Heroes, look, man, just be careful. Just be careful, buddy. Pretend Stories, I would do the same thing with you. Like, hey, Fears, guess what? I did cocaine, man. Like, cocaine was, you know, raining down through the fucking rafters. I'd be like, look, Pretend Stories, just be careful, buddy. Like, I wouldn't do that, but, you know, you're your own human being. You can do whatever you want, but just be careful, you know? I worry about you guys. Pixel says, pills are more dangerous as well. You can't, oh, that's true. But yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good start to your weekend. All right, let me tell you this. Work was good yesterday, but long, and I was dead to the world. By the time we got done, we were so busy. So I come into work, right? Come into work last night, and my friend that I always work with, he stands next to me. He's like, hey, Fears. He goes, what do you think? He goes, you think it's going to be like an easy night or a late night? I said, Fridays. I said, I've been here for 6 months. I said, you've only been here for like a month or two. So I said, you don't know really the routine yet. I said, you're getting there. Because my friend at work said, Fears, be honest. How have I been doing? I said, I've only been here 6 months, buddy. So I said, I can't judge it. I said, but just from observing, I said, yeah, you're doing good. I said, you know, you put the boxes in the right area. I said, you organize them very well. I said, you're a great guy. We have great conversation. I said, yeah. I said, you're doing good, man. He goes, I'm thinking of quitting. And I was like, why would you quit? He goes, man, these hours have been kind of sucky lately. I said, only because, you know, January through April, he goes, there's not many people send many packages. I said, but after April, I said, dude, it's going to get busy. I said, the managers had a meeting the other day. I said, they said, oh, it's going to be busy. Now we have spurts of busyness, but it's nothing like when I started. Like when I started last September, from September to January, I barely took a day off. You know, I barely got sick and I was working 6 days a week instead of 5. So I only had Sunday off. And I told my friend at work, I was like, that's how fucking busy it's going to get. So I said for like 6-7 months, it's busy. I said the other months, that's, it's kind of here and there. But anyway, so after we had that discussion, he goes, you think it's going to be a busy night, Fears? And I was like, I don't know. It's tough to say. I said, sometimes Fridays are kind of lazy days. I said, sometimes Fridays are absolute mad chaos. So I said, we'll see. The manager comes up. He's like, hey, guys. He's like, thanks for, being on time. Time to start the meeting. We start going through the meeting. And he goes, oh, by the way, he goes, don't kill the messenger, guys. Don't kill the messenger. But he's like, we've got 60,000 boxes. I was like, oh, I'm like, here we go. So then I looked over at my friend. I said, does that answer your question, buddy? I said, 60,000. That's a lot. I said, that means we're not going to get off until 8:30, 9:30. Fears did not get off until 9:15 this morning. So I'm glad that I got long hours, but man, my back was killing me. Walking around, I wore okay shoes, but definitely not, I probably won't wear those again to work. Those new Adidas shoes that I posted on Instagram, and you guys have seen them. I've worn them in streams, I've worn them in vlogs. They're good to walk around in, but man, by the time I got out of there, my feet were on fire, dude. Fire. So, anyway, so it was a good work. It was a good work night, but man, it was long. My back was killing me. I was like, damn. And I went over to my friend. I said, dude, this is the busiest day we've had in a while, man, in a while. Because he's kind of new, so he's like, hey, Fears. He goes, it's not always like this. I said, no. I said, remember that conversation that I told you? I said, not every night's like this. I said, some nights we've got 20,000. Some nights we've got 25,000. I said, it just all depends on what they want, what they need, or how many people send boxes and, da-da-da-da-da. So I said, you never know. I said, until the manager says, hey, we've got this much. So, yeah. But yeah. Anyway, Pretend Story says, look, I'm just looking out. Probably not a good idea to talk about private conversation. I mean, I got you. I understand. Again, I wasn't trying to narc Pixel. Pixel, the reason why I said it is because I care about you, buddy. That's the only reason, Like, I just don't want anything bad to happen to you, or Heroes. Like, whenever Heroes is, like, smoking a whole bunch, I'm like, man, he can do whatever he wants because he's an adult. But, me and Heroes were homies, so I'm just like, just be careful, buddy. Just be careful. It's all from the heart, man. Because you guys know I care about Heroes. I mean, I care about all you guys in the chat. I care about all my loving and loyal fans. But Heroes and Pixel, they're friends. Outside the YouTube community. So I just want you guys to be safe. And Pixel's a pretty smart guy. I don't think Pixel would do anything like catastrophic. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let me write Visions real quick, because Visions was like excited. He was like, oh, hell yeah, Fears, you're doing a stream, man, because you haven't done one in like 2 or 3 days. And I was like, I think it's been like 3 days. 2 or 3 days at least. So give me a second to write him, because he's missing it. He's missing the stream. I don't know where he is. Let's find out. Hey, Heroes, I hope you had a good work week, buddy. Heroes, I still don't have any stream time left, so you're gonna have to tell me in the chat, how's work been? Has work been just nuts all week, or has it been good? All right, I'm just gonna write him. Yo, the stream has started. Come when you can. Or come and join when you can. All right, I sent him a message. Hopefully he gets here. Visions, I hope you get here. I'm sorry if he missed the stream. Like, maybe he's having dinner. I don't know, but hopefully he gets here soon. Anyway, I'm not ratting anyone out. No, I'm not. Anyway, heroes, how is the work week been? But anyway, let me know. But anyway, yeah, it was busy. It was busy. It was busy, buddy. It was busy, 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 busy. And that new guy that I work with, he's a cool guy. He's really cool, but he's like, man, like when we got off, he goes, Fierce, you look exhausted. And I was like, no, I don't look exhausted. I am exhausted, you know? I didn't say that to him. What I really said to him was, oh, yeah, buddy. I said, I'm tired. I said, I'm going to go home and sleepy time. And he was like, I can't feel my legs anymore, Fierce. I said, well, yeah. I said, you walk around a lot because you have to go to the line, grab the box, go over to the fucking truck, put the box down, or sometimes put it in the truck. I didn't see Sam. I went up to the drivers because Sam reports in at like anywhere between 6:30 and 8:30 because they have to leave the warehouse by, I think it's either 9 or 9:30. So we have to have the boxes ready to go. So they come in and then they organize them and they go, all right, do I have all my boxes? Yes, I do. Boom, I'm out of here, you know? So I'm walking around and it was like maybe 5 minutes before I had to leave. And I was like, man, I haven't seen Sam in days, you know? So I went up to his manager and I was like, hey, do you know where Sam is? He goes, oh yeah. He goes, Fierce, I don't know if you heard. He goes, but Sam, I said, I know he's going through some stuff. And he goes, yeah, he took the day off to take care of some personal stuff. And I was like, oh, really? And he goes, yeah. So my heart goes out to Sam. I don't want to tell you guys what's going on. It's really personal. But I thought I would have saw him at work. But his boss said, no, everything's cool. He's not fired or anything. He just took a personal day. He said he had to take care of some serious stuff. And I was like, I got you. I'm like, it's none of my business. I got you. So, Sam, I'm a-praying for you, buddy. I hope everything's all right. Let's see. Hero says, can't complain. Everything is good. Gonna be doing a live stream about the new game trailer. Trailer's PlayStation is dropping. Oh, yeah? Nice. Heroes, I do envy you, man. To be the only guy in the warehouse. I wish. Fierce, you go into my warehouse, there's people everywhere. There's thousands of people. You know, and I'm a people person. You know, I like to talk to people. I like to hang out. I like to communicate. But, man, sometimes it gets crowded in our warehouse. There's people everywhere, dude. But all I got to say is for a busy day, actually the time goes quick. Because we started working, and all of a sudden, I was like, oh, man, I'm like, the night's going slow. I'm like, it's probably only like 4:45. I go up to someone that's scanning a box, because every time they scan a box, they've got this remote attached to their arm. So they scan the box, and then they have to look to make sure it went through, and then they click OK. And there's a clock built in to the wrist thing they have on. So I went up to my buddy Jim, or not Jim. What's his name? I don't remember his name now. But he's still kind of new. He's like he's been there 2 or 3 days. I said, hey man, what time is it? And he's like, oh, Fierce. He's like, we've been moseying. I was like, really? I said, how late is it? And he goes, oh, it's 6. I said, 6? And he goes, yeah, Fierce, where have you been? I said, I've been working. And he goes, well, what time did you think it was? I said, I thought it was around 3:50, 4 o'clock. He went, no, Fierce. He goes, it's like 6:05. And I was like, yes. And he goes, is that what you wanted to hear? I thought, well, yeah. I'm like, 6 is closer to whenever we get out. I said, if it was 3 or 4, I'd be like, well, gosh dang it. I'm like, we just got here and it's going to take forever to get off work. So it was a good work day. It was just busy. Pretend stories. I got to say, you know that one guy that went nuts on me at work? He didn't say one word today. Thank God. And they actually did get me a lot of help today because they knew, like, remember the last time I told you guys? I was like, oh, you're not pinning this on me. I said, it takes more than one person to work on the belt because they have to throw the packages down the chute. And if the chute gets cluttered, the opening of it, then that backs up the guy scanning. So he scans it, says, yep, it went through, sends the package down to us. Then we take it and we put it in front of the truck so the drivers, you know. So one guy, remember I told you guys, one guy came up to me the other day and was like, Fierce, what the heck, man? Like, you've been here for hours. Why is the chute all, like, bundled up? And I'm like, I looked at him like, really? There's only me on the line. I'm not a robot. I'm not the Slave-O-Matic 9000. I'm like, I need help. And plus, they should never have just one person down near the chute. It's a two-person job. One person to keep the chute clean, and then me to work in the back and put all the packages away. And sometimes the guy at the front that cleans the chute out, he puts packages away too whenever it's uncluttered. So I just said, hey, look, man, I said, I'm sorry that it's cluttered. And I already told you guys this story, but I'm telling everybody the story that didn't watch the last stream. I said, hey, look, man, I need this guy. He's a nice guy, but he's like from a military background. So anyone that goes into the military, they just have that, because the military trains them to be 100%, because they have to be. That's how they train the soldiers. They have to be 100% all the time, and that's just how he is. My dad was like that, because my dad had military. So I'm glad, and I live it up for the vets. But the guy went nuts on me for no reason, and I was just like, dude, what do you expect? There's only one person, If you had two people, I even told the guy, I said, if there's 2 people or 3 people down on the chute, it would never get cluttered. So I come in today, and a manager comes up to me and says, hey, man, he goes, what was that thing about the other day? I said, look, I said, it wasn't a big deal. I said, we didn't get into an argument. He goes, yeah. He goes, I just wanted to make sure you were all right, Fears. I said, yeah. I said, I'm fine. I said, I'm going to tell you what I told him. I said, I'm only one person. And he goes, yeah, I know, Fears. He goes, do you know the reason? He goes, do you know the reason why we only had you down there like by yourself the other day? And I said, yeah. I said, I pretty much know the reason. He goes, yeah. He goes, a lot of people called in sick. He goes, a lot of people just didn't show up to work. He goes, there's some people, Fears, that are not like you. He goes, you take your job very seriously. He goes, you've only called off on extreme emergencies. I said, yeah. I said, either when I have, something going on in my life, or when my stomach's cringing, because he knows I have Crohn's. He goes, yeah. He goes, you're pretty much here almost every day. And he goes, there's some people that don't care about their job. He goes, which in turn, it ruins it for everybody else. And I said, yeah, I know. He goes, whenever all those people don't show up to work, then we're short-staffed. And I said, yeah, I know. I said, I didn't like him going nuts on me. He goes, yeah. He goes, that guy can be like that. He goes, but it's only because somebody else is going nuts on it. I said, yeah. I said, listen, I get it. So I come in yesterday, and not only did he not say one word to me, thank God, but they actually got me a bunch of help. So actually it went really quickly. So I started off doing it by myself, and then pretty much all of the middle, someone got me some help. So it was me and somebody else. And this girl was new, so I had to teach her how to do it, which is fine. So I just said, hey, look, I said, the easiest way to do this is to cut up the belt. I said, stay in the front, keep it uncluttered, and then whenever it's uncluttered, just put away some boxes. I said, if it's not any of your boxes, throw the boxes down to me, and I'll do, the other part of the belt. And she went, okay. She goes, that sounds right. I said, yeah. I said, if there's 3 people, what I usually do is I put someone in the front, put someone in the middle, and put someone in the back. And I always like to do the back because you don't have to keep walking back and forth. People just throw you the boxes, so it's 10 times easier. So I always volunteer. But the only problem about that is the back. The back usually gets the heaviest packages. But I would rather do the heaviest packages because not only am I trying to lose weight, then I don't have to keep walking back and forth, So, yeah. So pretty much the whole shift, they got me to come up, except for the last 15 minutes, which was fine because we were almost done. And I was like, yeah, whatever, we're about to get out. But it was long. It was long. And in my head, I was like, man, it was a good day. It was just busy. But I was like, damn, Fears, you haven't got out at like 9:15 in a long time. So that's when the trucks are like rolling out, because they got to be out of there by 9:30ish. They got to get on the road because they got to start delivering the packages. So, yeah. Anyway. Well, heroes, I look forward to your... Now, what games? What trailers are they dropping? You know what? And I'll be honest, man, I miss Sam. I'm worried about Sam, and I miss Sam. Not only do I miss hanging out with him, Sam's a good listener, and he's he's a great friend that gives advice and stuff, but we always have a blast hanging out. But I know Sam's going through some shit, so when I go to church on Sunday, I'm definitely not going to give him not one prayer. Fears is going to give him 2 prayers, because all the stuff that Sam's going through, it's just too personal to tell you guys. If Sam wants to tell you guys, then have at it. But I'm not gonna say it. But man, I hope everything's okay. You know, I worry about my friends and my family. You know, but yeah. But yeah. Anyway. Well, another reason why he probably didn't say anything for 10 stories is probably because he didn't work on my belt today. And it was so busy. So he probably didn't, you know. And plus, he's the type of guy that doesn't hold grudges, you know. That's one good thing about him. He doesn't hold grudges. And again, we didn't get into an argument. It was a disagreement. And again, like, don't make it out to be bigger than it is. It was literally like a 2-minute conversation. I just said, hey, man, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm only one person. I'm sorry that the belt got, you know, kind of cluttered. And he goes, I get it, Fears. He goes, we just got to keep moving. I said, I'm moving. I said it would help. I said, if I had another person. So it wasn't a big thing. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, let's move on. I have lost some weight. I checked my my scale the other day. Fears is down to 185. 185. Still got a ways to go. Still got a ways to go to losing some weight, but we're making progress. We're making progress. Well, that's why I haven't said anything for 10 stories. I just said I'm worried about Sam and I'm praying for my buddy Sam, but I'm not going to say what's been bothering my buddy Sam because that's none of your business and it's none of my business. You know, it's not my business to say his business, you know. Anyway, so yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on this. So I don't know how old it is, but definitely got a bunch of cool places in it that I want to go to and do vlogs at. And, I mean, the only thing is, like I said, I highly doubt I'll go to Miami anytime soon. I've been there before with my mom and my dad and my brother, but it's been ages. But to drive from where I live, near Orlando, down to there, that's a couple of hours. That's a couple of hours. At least, no, actually more than a couple, because a couple is 2, so probably around 4 or 5 hours. So, but all the other places, I'm going to look at and see what type of tourist attraction they have. Like here, I'll just tell you a few. Here, let's see here. They've got this place called the Sloppy Joe Bar, and it is located in Demene, I think is how you pronounce it, Demene, Florida. Legendary Sloppy Joes. And fine dining, 50s and 60s old-fashioned look inside the diner. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And it's called the Sloppy Joe's Bar. That sounds cool. I've always wanted to go to like the Everglades. I think I've went once as a kid with my mom and my dad, but again, I don't remember much of it because I was like 4, 5. Like when I first went, the very first time I went to Florida, there's old pictures of me as like a little kid playing in the sand, and I'm maybe 4 or 5. So I remember parts of it, but I don't remember. My mom and dad said that I've went to the Everglades before, but I'm like, I don't remember that part of the trip, you know. So yeah. And I remember bits and pieces of me going to, like, Disney as a kid. I remember how excited I was when I went on the monorail for the first time. And I remember there was this, like, little girl. Well, I was 5 or 6 at the time, so she was, like, my age. She was, like, 5 or 6. And she said she loves my accent. I remember that. Because she was from England. And she's like, I love your American accent. And that was the first time hearing it as a kid. And I'm like, I don't have an accent. And she goes, well, to me you do. And I said, well, you have an accent. I said, you sound like my mom. And I remember me and her were chatting on the monorail. And I don't remember where the monorail was taking us, but I remember that. I remember we had like a nice conversation. And she was like, do you like living in America? And I was like, yeah. She goes, I love America. She goes, it's my first time. And I was like, I'm like, are you on vacation with your mom and your dad? She goes, yeah, and my sister. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, well, you guys have fun. I'm like, Disney's pretty fun. And I said, do you like it? And she goes, oh, I can't wait to meet Mickey and yada, yada, yada. I remember that conversation. So, yeah. Can you do a tour of the Sloppy Joe Bar? I guess. I'll have to find out where it is, Joey Boy. But I'll be honest, I haven't had a sloppy Joe like burger in forever. Like I used to eat sloppy joes tons when I was a kid. You know, like I don't know where you guys are. I know where some of you guys live. Like Heroes lives, 45 minutes away. Pixel lives in North Carolina, but I don't know where you live, Pretend Stories or Joy Boy, but so I don't know if your guys' school gave you sloppy joes, but man, when I was growing up, they served a lot of those little square pizzas at school and sloppy joes and salad and stuff like that. There was healthy things to eat at school, but Fears as a kid, I love salad. My brother doesn't like salad, but I would like put on tons of salad, make myself a little salad. Then I'd have some fruit cocktail, like they would have like a little bowl of fruit. And so I tried to eat healthy, but other times I was like, yeah, fuck being healthy. And I would get like 4 sloppy joes and fucking devour them. Like, so yeah, they served a lot, but that's the last time I've had a sloppy Joe, Joy Boy. So it's been a minute. It's been a while. So, but I would love to do a vlog there. Like just the name of it, the Sloppy Joe Bar. So I definitely would get like a beer, and then I'd get a sloppy Joe. That'd be sweet. Definitely. Visions, you're missing the whole stream, buddy. You're missing the whole stream. Where is he? Let's see here. Let's see if I can get a hold of him. Or maybe he's watching and he just doesn't want to, because Vision sometimes likes to watch in the shadows. So he could be here. I don't know. All right. Let's see here. Well, shout out to the 8 people watching. God bless. Hope you guys are all having a great start to your weekend. Nope, he hasn't read my message yet. Well, hopefully Visions gets here soon. Well, Visions, I understand. If you're busy, buddy, but hopefully you can watch the stream later. But yeah. So, Joy Boy, once Fears gets caught up, because I've got so many vlogs to catch up on, you guys know this. I'll be honest, I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I've just been depressed. I even had a conversation with my mom about this, because now me and my mom, we're finally back to normal, and we're talking, and everything's good to go. I've been so depressed, it's been beyond belief. And it's not just one thing. I've been depressed about a bunch of things. Like, I miss my dad. Fears hasn't had a girlfriend in like 4 years. That sucks, Not for a lack of trying. I have written tons of girls. So there's that. The main thing, though, is my dad. I miss the shit out of my dad, I miss my brother. I miss my mom, And then my work schedule's been kind of crappy. So hopefully we get busier soon, because then the more busy we get, the more hours we get. You know what I'm saying? So... because I love to work. Some people don't like to work. I love to work. I love to work, stay busy, make money, be a contributed member of society, get shit done, I love editing, all that stuff. I don't know, just, there's a bunch of stuff that's kind of put me in a funk. I've been trying to get out of the funk. Me and Randall had a really long conversation about this. It was either last night or the night before. And he goes, well, Fears, what's been going on? I said, you watched my stream, right? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I watched it. He goes, so you know what's going on. Like, he goes, yeah, but is there more to it? I was like, no, it's just those 4 or 5 things that have been kind of on my mind. And he's like, well, what are they? I said, well, 1, my dad, missing my dad. I said, 2, Randall, it sucks. I said, everybody else gets to find a special someone. I said, but Fears has been looking for 4 years. Not constant looking, but, off and on. And I said, I've written tons of messages to girls. I said, not one of them is like interested. I said, that sucks, I said, me and my mom, I said, that was bothering me, because me and my mom didn't talk for like a month and a half, but because me and my mom got into a little argument, and it was something so meaningless, I don't even remember what it was. That's how meaningless it was, but I'll be honest, sometimes my mom holds grudges, so, but now we're fine. Like, she loved my Valentine's Day gift. Pretend Stories. Remember I told you what the gift was? She was over the moon by it. She messaged me, and I read you guys the message. She was like, oh, you didn't have to do this. You didn't have to send me a gift. I said, well, you're my mom. Of course. I'm like, I love you. I'm like, you're the person that gave me life, you know? So I'm like, I said, Mom, I said, who cares about whatever the fight was? I said, I'm sorry, you're sorry. It doesn't matter what we were arguing about. I said, I just want to, let's get over it, you know? And she goes, yeah, I agree. I said, good. And I said, I'm glad you liked the gift. I said, it came from the heart. And I said, I love you a lot. And I said, Mom, I said, all families go through this. I said, if someone says that their family doesn't lie, then they're lying. I said, all families have little, little tiffs every once in a while. I said, that's just how families are. But I said, we're blood, so like, let's just get over it, And I tried to tell her, I was like, I'm not always going to agree with you, and you're not always going to agree with me. That's most people. Why? Because I'm not the same person as you, and you're not the same as me. That's what makes us different. But I said, it doesn't matter if we don't always agree. What matters is that we love each other, and, I said, you'll always give me support, Mom. I'll always give you support. But I don't want to fight with her, especially now more than ever, because my mom's been going through a lot, because of the loss of my dad. I've been going through a lot. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me. Because even my friend at church was like, Fears, man, you haven't uploaded a vlog like in a month and a half. And I was like, I know, buddy. I'm like, I know. And he's like, well, what's been going on, man? And then I pretty much told him the same story that I'm telling you guys right now. And he's like, I know, Fears. He goes, listen, we all go through ups and downs, ups and downs. And I said, yeah, I said, things have been tough. And I said, I try not to let these things get me down. I said, but, I'm only human. So, there it is. I'm sure things will get better. I try to stay busy. I'm not ratting on my mom pretend story. I'm just saying that's the truth. But again, I do it too. Sometimes I hold grudges too. Sometimes I feel like I'm worse than my mom, There's been tons of grudges that I've held on for years, but some people I just can never forgive. And I'm not even going to open up that can of worms, because Fears could go on about 4 days about that, Anyway. So I'm hoping things will get better. Anyway, tonight we're going to review some of my favorite movies. Fears grew up with these legendary, hilarious guys. Bill and Ted 1 and Bill and Ted 2. Oh, yeah, dude. Excellent. That's air guitaring. They air guitar. They stop mid-movie, break the fourth wall, look at the fucking camera and you're not supposed to break the fourth wall in a play or in a film. But it's kind of cool when you break the fourth wall. If you guys don't know what breaking the fourth wall is, when you break the fourth wall, you interact with the audience, you talk with the audience, you do kind of funny stuff with the audience, and you're not supposed to do that. But when you do it, you kind of get away with it because people love it. They're like, oh shit, he broke the fourth wall. These guys, they fucking break the fourth wall, they look at the fucking camera, they fucking air guitar it out, and then they go right back into the fucking story. Plus, they filmed the first movie in Arizona and California. So when I went to film school out in Arizona, on our senior project, we had to do a film. We had to do like a massive production. So we put out, and I think I've told you guys about the project. We did kind of like an action adventure cop story. That's what everybody agreed on in my senior class. And it was called 5150. I still haven't uploaded it to my channel. I've uploaded the trailer. That was my very first video ever that I uploaded to Fierce Man 26, was the trailer to 5150. So if you go back, it's either the second film, that's the second video I uploaded or the first film I uploaded, because whenever I started my YouTube channel, I didn't really know how YouTube worked, what I wanted to upload, and I've told you guys this story a million times. My friend was like, Fears, if you don't know how to set up your channel, I thought you had to pay for it, because back then, I was paying money to put my projects on Vimeo, and then I put my projects on, this is how old fucking Fears is, I was putting them on my MySpace account. MySpace is not even a thing anymore. Or actually it is. Someone told me they've turned MySpace like into a Instead of like a Facebook account, it's like a account where you go and put your favorite music on or some shit. Anyway, it's obsolete. So then when Facebook came out, I started putting my videos on Facebook, you know. But then my friend was like, "Oh, Fierce, this is how like bad I am at technology." Fierce is kind of old school. It was either Randy or somebody else in my film school, like class, like, "Oh, Fierce, there's this fucking new thing, man." And I was like, "Oh, fucking," I'm like, "I'm not gonna pay more money." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm already paying money on fucking Vimeo." I said, "No," I said, "Fuck that, man." I said, "I'm not doing it." And he's like, "Fierce, this is a free account." I said, "What is that?" And so then he told me about YouTube, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds cool." He's the one that actually helped me set up my account, and the very first video I put up was 5150, the trailer. And while we were working on 5150, the director, which was one of my friends in my film class, I was in charge of props, filming certain scenes. Me and my friend, we found all the filming locations for our short film, and then I was an extra in some of the scenes. So I got to do actually quite a bit. And while we were filming, my friend came up to me and said, "Hey, Fierce, you'll like this." And I said, "What's up?" And he's like, "You know," he goes, "you've went on and on about Bill and Ted." I was like, "Oh, yeah." I'm like, "I fucking love Bill and Ted." He goes, "Well, Fierce, you're going to love this." And I was like, "Yeah, what's going on?" And he goes, "We needed to find extras, and we needed to find people to be in our short film, right?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Me and the teacher put an ad in the paper. And they put like a little ad like in our school paper and shit like that. I don't know how they found this person." But he goes, "Fears, we found somebody that actually worked on Bill and Ted, and she's going to come and be in our film." I said, "No way." I said, "Really?" And he goes, "Oh, Fears." And this is, I kid you not, if I find the pictures, I'll show them to you guys. I'm not lying. I'm not bullshitting. I know they're not here. I know the pictures that I have are in Missouri, but let me get to it. Let me get to the story. So I said, "What did she do?" I said, "What did she do in Bill and Ted?" He goes, "Well, she was in Bill and Ted 1. She wasn't in the sequel." I said, "Okay." And he goes, "You know that lady that flies through the window when they're in like the Old West?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "She's the lady that grabs the rope and goes flying through the fucking window of the saloon." And he goes, "Then there's a lady, you know, like when they're out in front of the convenience store talking?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "You know, like when Ted's like, 'Hey, excuse me, do you know when the Mongols ruled China?'" And I said, "Oh, that old lady?" He goes, "No, it's not the old lady." He goes, "But whenever the old lady says, 'I don't know, I just work here, leave me alone,' as she goes in, this lady called Robin, which is her name, she either goes into the convenience store or walks out, and she's got long blonde hair, and she's inside the convenience store. If you watch it, you'll see a tall lady with long blonde hair way in the background." And I said, "Oh, so she did that." He goes, "Yeah, she did those two scenes, then she was in a couple of other scenes." I said, "Oh, that's pretty cool." So she gets to the set, and I went up to her and I said, "Robin," I said, "Listen, you don't know me. Thanks a lot for being in our short film." I said, "I am the biggest fan of Bill and Ted." She goes, "Oh, yeah, that was my first job." And I said, "Well, how did you land that?" She goes, "Oh, they had a casting call." And she goes, "I'm also a stunt woman." So she's like, "Not only am I an actress, but I'm a stunt woman." I said, "Oh, so that's how you got," I said, she goes, "Yeah, because I go flying through the window in the saloon." And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And she goes, "They had a casting call for actors and stunt women." She goes, "And I got it." And I was like, "That's pretty cool." So about mid-shoot, right? She goes, "Fears, come here. I've got a surprise for you." And I was like, "Oh, yeah?" And she goes, "I know how much you love Bill and Ted." I said, "Listen," I said, "if I could," I said, I would cut off my arm to have been in Bill and Ted Part 3. But of course, they did not call Fears. I'd love, if they ever make a Bill and Ted Part 4, which they better, before I die. They probably won't, though. But I would love to be in Bill and Ted. I just love the buddy, kind of films. And she goes, "Well, I got a surprise for you." And she goes, "I thought about how much you love Bill and Ted." So she's like, she goes, "After one day on the shoot," because our short film took about a month or two for us to film that short film, and it's about 10 minutes long. But and I've got it edited. I just haven't uploaded it. I need to. Anyway, so she's like, "Well," she goes, "I went through like old pictures." She goes, "And I have some old pictures that I took from the set." She goes, "And I went to Kinko's and I made a duplicate copy." And she gave me some behind the scene photos. And I was like, "Wow." I'm like, "This is so fucking cool." I'm like, I said, "Robin," I said, "You did not have to do that." I said, "I really appreciate it." I said, "This is so cool." She goes, "Well," she goes, "I thought, she goes, 'You're a good guy, Fears." She goes, "I thought, oh, this, Fears will get a kick out of this." And I was like, I'm definitely getting a kick out of it. So one of these days, I will look for the photos and I will show. There's literally like, there's a picture of her with her long blonde, like 80s hair, standing right next to Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. And they've got coffee cups. So she goes, oh yeah, this was between the take. And and she goes, it was cold that night. She goes, John, you know how cold Arizona nights get. I said, oh yeah. I said, during the day, it's hot as hell, but I said, at night, it gets kind of chilly. She goes, yeah. She goes, we all had our coats on, and we're all sipping coffee, and we had like a 10-minute break, and then I said, what scene were you guys shooting? She goes, oh yeah, it was the stuff outside the convenience store, and I was walking in, and I was in the convenience store and all that crap, and I was like, oh, that's cool. So if I find those pictures, guys, they're at home. They're in Missouri. So when I go to visit, I'll try to find them, because you guys have got to see them. You guys have got to see them. They are awesome. They're awesome. The only place they could possibly... I do have some scrapbooks of pictures here. And I brought some of my old scrapbooks from home to here. So after this after this live, I'm going to look through my scrapbook. If they're not in those scrapbooks here, then I know for a fact they're in Missouri. Because I didn't bring them all. So anyway... All right, let's see here. Joy Boy says, she sounds like a nice lady. Oh, Joy Boy, my mom is amazing. My mom is amazing. I mean, despite our little tiffs here and there, my mom is an amazing woman. I feel bad for her and her loss. Oh, yeah. Listen, I feel bad for my brother. I feel bad for me. I feel bad for my mom. But I always think of others before myself. I know my mom's going through a lot of shit. That's why I was like, listen, Mom. I said, I don't care who started it. Let's just get along, you know? Because I don't want to fight with my mom, especially now. So, I've been helping her more and my brother. Like, I call my mom all the time. So, yeah. And, yeah, my brother lives in Missouri, so we both take turns. So, my brother will be like, hey, listen, you need to call Mom. Like, she's going through some shit. So... I always check on her. I always write my mom. I always text her. So she's hanging in there. And I told her, I said, Mom, the best way is to keep yourself busy. And I said, go out with friends. Do stuff. So she's been hanging out a lot with my grandma. By the way, my grandma's doing better, guys. My grandma was in the hospital. She was a little sick. But they got her on some better medicine. And she's home now. She's resting. So thank you so much for all the prayers and blessings. For my grandma. I really appreciate that. So I can't thank you guys enough for that. That was really nice. You guys, I had some people write me on Twitter and said, "Hey, Fears, so she's been hanging. I'm praying for your grandma." And I was like, "Oh, nice." I'm like, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So that was very nice of you guys. All right. So we're going to review both of these. We're going to be reviewing Twister. Oh yeah. So let me know if you guys have seen any of these. They're both. I highly recommend this and both and these two. They're all good. They're all good, entertaining films. So yeah. Before I get into it, I got some updates. So I don't have any really plans this weekend. I have. Let's see. I've got church, and that's pretty much the only thing I have planned. And then I got to go grocery shopping tomorrow. So that's about it. So I'll let you guys know if I've got anything else. I may go see a movie this weekend. I haven't went to the movie theaters in quite a long time. So, well, thank you, Skylar, for saying that. I appreciate that. He says, rest in peace, Fear Senior. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Skylar. You know what? I'm not a junior, though. We all have different middle names. So, yeah. Well, you know what, Skylar? I can't see Adam, so I don't care what he says. I could care less. If it's who I think it is, that's why I blocked him. So, if he's just hating on my mom and me, I don't really care what he has to say, because he's a fucking idiot. So, that's why I blocked him. Because all he wants to do is spread hate and negativity. So I don't really care what he has to say. So anyway, let's move on. But I appreciate you saying that about my dad, Skylar. And thanks for the prayers. And Yeah, I think about my dad all the time. He was a great guy. Still is a great guy. So, yeah. All right, let's continue on. So, well, I'm going to start with Twister. I don't remember when I saw this, but I remember seeing it with my brother and my dad. So, if you guys have never seen Twister, it's basically about this, like these people that chase tornadoes, and their goal is to stick this machine that they invented to read a tornado and to put it up in the tornado to get like data. And it's basically like their adventures on how they achieve it and what it takes to achieve it and how they built, and they call the machine Dorothy, from The Wizard of Oz, which, by the way, is one of Fierce's favorite movies. I love Wizard of Oz. Well, I know that too, Skylar. I know that too. I know that I'm not a bad son. So again, I don't care what he says because it's just him doing this, and he's all this, and there's no action. He's a fucking idiot. I know I'm a good son, So he's just a fucking idiot, moron, loser that just wants to spread hate. So it is what it is. He's always hated Fierce. He's always a hater. He always will be a hater. Who cares? Fuck him. I don't care. He's a fucking idiot. That's all he ever will be. So it's a shame that people spread hate when I'm not really that big of a YouTuber, and they waste so much time on me. I don't get it. But anyway, it is what it is. So anyway, I would recommend this film. It's a good film. I recently watched it again. It's got Helen Hunt, and it's got Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton's been in tons of shit. He's been in Terminator. He's been in this. He's been in Titanic. It's a shame that he passed away a few years ago, but Bill Paxton is a great actor. Helen Hunt is a great actress. So an amazing cast. He's an amazing cast, and so yeah. But I'm trying to think of any flaws. There's not many flaws of this film. There's some good movie cars in it though. Great props. Fears has been wanting to get some props out of this movie for quite a long time. I would rate it probably an 8 out of 10. And the reason why I didn't give it a 9 out of 10 is because there is a lot of action in it, but I wish there was more like character scenes, One of the best scenes though, my favorite scene in it, is when these two characters right here, they go visit her mom, and they have like this big like lunch/dinner scene. Not only does the food look good in the scene, but the scene is fucking hilarious. So that's my favorite scene. So the lunch scene, when they go, I think her name's Aunt May, or it's either Aunt May or Aunt Maggie or some shit. They go visit her, and they're in between like chasing the storms, and that's a good scene. Another good scene is at the end when they finally get the machine into the Class 5 tornado, and the tornado is going fucking nuts, going ballistic, and they finally get the machine in it. That's a good scene. That's a really good scene. It's a really good scene. Lots of bonus features though on the DVD. Whoop, right here. So there's like a good hour and a half of bonus features. By the way, I'm almost done with my mom's Christmas gift. I'm almost done with Star Trek Enterprise. So in a couple of days, I'm going to be reviewing that. I'm on season 4 right now. So look out for that. Because that's coming soon. So about an 8 out of 10. Very action-packed, action-adventure. So yeah. So I hope you guys check it out, because it is a really, really, really good movie. It's really good. And you know what? Bill Paxton was in Predator 2. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. Should have been in the second Predator. I don't know why he wasn't. But I love the Predator movies. They're so good. The first one's my favorite, obviously, but he was in Predator 2. He's such a good actor. It's a shame that he's passed away, but yeah. Moving right along, but check out this film, guys. Check it out. All right, next one. Let's start with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So not only is it one of the coolest buddy movies, I love time travel movies, so that's another reason why it's fucking cool. And it's basically about, I wouldn't call Bill and Ted losers, and they're not really stoners. They're just two buddies that are not quite that bright. Let's be honest. They're not the smartest guys in the world, but what they make up for is their passion, their drive, how cool they are, with everybody. They don't judge anyone, But again, they're not the sharpest tools in the shed. And they have no idea that they're going to change the world with their music. And the guy, I don't remember his name, the guy that they call Rufus that comes from the future, he's a famous actor and comedian. And I forget his name. So somebody help me out in the chat what his name is. But the Rufus character is probably, I'd say, Ted. I'm trying to think. Who's my favorite character out of the film? I mean, I like Bill and Ted, but I'm trying to think. It's so hard to pick between them because they're both hilarious. They're both good. I can't pick between Bill and Ted. They're both great. But because I was trying to pick my favorite character out of the film, and I just can't. So, but besides Bill and Ted, Rufus is a good character too. And they made up this town in California. There is no Sam Denis, California. So Rufus comes from Sam Denis, California, it's way in the future, 700 years in the future. And they basically have based their whole society on Bill and Ted. They dress like Bill and Ted. They listen to Bill and Ted's music. Everything is about Bill and Ted because their music literally changed the course of history and the world and the universe and all that stuff. So yeah, but they have no idea. They're just two guys at the start of the film in their garage trying to film a music video. And the music video is not going that well, It's going horrible. The fucking camera's shaky. I'm Bill S. Preston Esquire, motherfucker. Things are not going good for Bill and Ted. Well, all of a sudden one night, a phone booth time machine shows up. I'll be honest, the phone booth time machine, not my favorite part of the film. Because again, I love time travel movies, but you have to admit, the Back to the Future time machine is way cooler than a phone booth with a fucking antenna on top of it, So, the time machine in Bill and Ted, it's kind of a slacking. It got better. It looked better in the second one than in the first one. I'll give them that. And in the third one, they went back to the original classic phone booth. So in the second version, the second film is my favorite version of the phone booth because the second version was high tech. It had all this electronic stuff on the top, but literally in the first one and the third one, it's literally just a phone booth with an antenna that goes up like that and shoots out, and then all this electricity comes down onto the fucking phone booth, I think the directors could have made the time machine just a little bit more cooler. I'm just saying. So that's probably the only thing I hate about the film. But I definitely would give Bill and Ted 1 a 9 out of 10. The characters are great. Where they time travel is great. Pretend Story says, how's the dating app process? Weak. Slow. So, I'll be honest, Pretend Stories, I haven't checked it in weeks. I need to. I haven't checked it in about 3 weeks. Because I've been going through a bunch of crap, like I said. So, I haven't checked if I have any messages or anything, but it's kind of slow. It is what it is. And I wish this Adam guy would go away because the whole chat is going nuts on this Adam guy. But I'm not letting it bother me. It's just kind of derailing the show, you know? So I would appreciate it if you guys wouldn't talk anymore about Adam. I don't care about Adam. He's a fucking idiot. So please don't talk about him. Let's focus on the show. That probably won't happen, but I'm going to continue on with the show. Because what he's saying, none of it's true. None of it's true. But yeah, to answer your question, pretend stories, it's been slow. So nothing really new to update on that. Anyway, if you guys wouldn't. Anyway, back to the back to the show. He's so hard to ignore. Listen, I get it. He spreads a lot of hate, so I get it. I understand. I get it. I understand. Anyway, so I'm sure you guys have already watched Bill and Ted, but if you haven't, you are missing out. Watch the first one. So good. So good. On to the second one. I wouldn't call Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey really a time travel. Like, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is a time travel movie. This one, they don't really go anywhere. They don't really time travel, except for the very end of the film. But you don't see where they go. At the end of the film, they just get into the phone booth. The phone booth goes down, and then all of a sudden, 2 seconds later, they drop right down. So they're like, "Oh yeah, man, that was a quick, 8 months of guitar training, dude." So apparently they went off somewhere and actually learned how to play the guitar, but they don't really time travel a lot. In Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, evil robot versions of themselves come from the future. There's this guy in the future that doesn't really like Bill and Ted, doesn't like the society, and he goes, "You know what? Fuck these guys. Like, if I go back in time, I'll just have these fucking robots that look like them just kill Bill and Ted, and then I'll take over the society, and everyone will have to fucking listen to me." So he's kind of like an evil villain, really psychotic, and he's like, "Listen, I don't care about Bill and Ted, fuck Bill and Ted, like, you listen to me and me only." So the movie's essentially about the evil robots that look exactly like Bill and Ted, except they're an evil version. They come back. So there's a tiny bit. The evil twins of them time travel back to the present, kill Bill and Ted, and then pretty much the whole film is you see where Bill and Ted go. They go to hell. Then they're like, "We got to get back and save the babes, man." And then they're like, "Yo, Visions, what's going on? You got here pretty much towards the end, buddy. I tried to message you twice. I was like, "Where the hell is Visions?" But thank God you got here, buddy. And Visions, if you could get rid, since you've got the wrench, if you could get rid of this Adam guy in the chat, I would really appreciate it, buddy. I can't see him, but apparently he's going nuts, and everybody's talking about him, and apparently he's spreading a lot of hate. So go ahead and blockity up. That's why I gave you the wrench, buddy, because he's been an annoying pain in the ass the whole time. So get rid of him, please. Pretty please. I would appreciate it. But thank God you're here, Visions. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. And you know what? I'm going to go a little longer because Visions missed the first part of the stream. So yeah. Anyway, so they pretty much go to hell, and then I'm reviewing Visions. I've already reviewed this. And now I'm reviewing the last one. Let's see. Vision says, "I can't see him either. He must have me blocked or something." Okay. All right. Well, as long as you have him blocked, because I can't see him either. Anyway. So really the second film, it's not really a time travel film. It's the only ones that time travel is Bill and Ted at the very end of the film. I'm talking at the very end, like when they're at the fucking concert scene. They at the very end. And then in the beginning, when the evil robot versions of them time travel to the present. You know what I'm saying? And then the whole movie is about those evil robots killing Bill and Ted. And they filmed in one of the most legendary movie locations of the time. They've used it countless times in television shows, Star Trek, movies, at those jaggedy rock formations out in California. I don't know what they're called, but they've used it in almost every version of Star Trek. They've used it in the movie version of the Flintstones. Fucking Fred Flintstone's neighborhood. They made the fucking neighborhood and had that fucking rock formation in the back of Fred Flintstone's neighborhood. John Goodman, you fucking rock. I love that film, by the way. So they've used it in countless. And so the evil robots throw Bill and Ted off that fucking canyon. They die, and basically the whole movie's about them trying to get back to not only save the day, save the babes, and restore history, and take down the evil fucking villain and take down the evil robots that killed them. And they want to take down that guy that says, hey, Bill and Ted, fuck you. I don't like your society. Fuck your society. Fuck your music. I don't care. Fuck you. You know, like, I could care less. And I think his name is Delobian. Like, I think, what the, hang on. Does it say his fucking name? Damn it. I think his name is Delobian, though. The fucking evil guy. You know what person I'm talking about, Visions. The guy at the end. The guy that has the black costume on. And he's got the black gun at the end. That fucking guy. The bald-headed guy. That guy. So, it's them basically traveling through the underworld. So they travel to hell. And they're like, oh shit, like, how the fuck did we get here? Then they go to heaven. And then after heaven, then they get back and they save the day. But I love all the special effects in it. There's definitely a lot more special effects in the second film than in the first film. You know, the first film's more about where in time they travel to. Like in the first film, they travel to Greece. They travel to like into the White House and they kidnap Abraham Lincoln. They go to Mongolia. I mean, they go all over in the first one. But yeah, Vision says classics. Oh yeah, these are classics. These are classics. I love me some Bill and Ted. Love me some Bill and Ted. And Visions, I was telling everybody, they're not the sharpest tools in the shed by any means. But what they lack from their smarts, they make up for with their passion, for their music, their passion for life, how they get along with people, their friendship between the friendship between Bill and Ted. You want to root for them. You're like, oh man, these fucking guys, they've gone through hell and back. Literally hell and back. Like, so you're cheering them on. You want them to succeed. You want their music to change the world, like Rufus says. So, Visions, did you like the third one? The third one I thought was pretty good. But I'd say my favorite film out of the whole series, because it's so tough to pick just one because they're all good. But if I had to pick just one, probably Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Anyway, but yeah, so, and here's the funny thing. Remember I told you guys they actually made a TV show called Bill and Ted's, it's either Bill and Ted's TV Adventures or Bill and Ted's, what is it called? Hang on, let me look it up. It's something, but they made a TV version of it. Let's see, Bill and Ted TV show. And it's pretty horrible. It's pretty horrible. Again, this is the thing, Visions, that I don't get. So, they filmed this TV show while they were filming Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. And the research that I've done, they were supposed to have Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves do this TV show. But I guess the producers or whoever was doing the TV show, I guess they got, impatient. And they said, hey, we're going to do the TV show. They said, we're going to film Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey first. Then after they get done with the movie, then Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves, they literally said, yeah, we'll do the TV show. I guess they couldn't. I guess the producers or somebody got fed up of waiting. Because it takes a while to make a film. But I'm like, it would have been so much better with Alex Winters and Keanu Reeves in it. They got two fucking guys that look almost exactly like Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves. And I'm like, why didn't they just have more patience and wait until the fucking movie was done? So they went off and filmed this TV show with two lookalikes, and it was fucking horrible. But Randy said, it was either Randy or Sam said they've watched it, and they were like, oh, Fears, it's right up your alley. It's classic shit TV. Visions, have you ever seen the TV version of it? I've seen, when Sam, it was either Sam told me about it or Randy told me about it, I watched the first episode and I almost died of fucking laughter. It is bad, and it's called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures with an S. So yeah, because the first movie is called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So this one's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures because they go on many adventures. But yeah, hilarious. I'm looking at the IMDb page, and literally these guys look almost exactly alike. I don't understand why they couldn't just wait until the movie's over. I watched the bonus features. I think it only took like 6 months or 8 months to film Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey or something like that. Just wait a couple of months. It would have been way better with the actual actors, but no, because there's also a cartoon out. And the cartoon, let's see, what's the cartoon called? I think it's just Bill and Ted. I think that's what it's called. Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter actually voiced the cartoon. And they were like, oh, the cartoon's going so well, let's do a television show. I don't get why they just wouldn't wait. It's hilarious. All right, so the cartoon is called, let's see, okay, so the cartoon is basically the same title. The cartoon is called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. So I think the TV show is a sequel to the cartoon. So the cartoon, I'm reading on Google. The cartoon came first, and then the TV show. And I think they filmed the cartoon right after Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Hopefully I'm getting that right. That's what I'm getting off of Google. But we all know sometimes the internet is wrong and sometimes the internet is right. So I'm just going by what it says right now on Google. And I'll get back to your comments in a minute because I can't see them because I've got Google up. But that's what Google is saying. So Bill and Ted came first, the first movie, then the cartoon, then Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. And while they were filming Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, at the same time they filmed the fucking hilarious, cheesy cartoon movie. I mean the fucking television show. So I don't get it. Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves, they actually voiced the cartoon. But why didn't they just wait and do fuck you, producers, why didn't you just wait until fucking Bogus Journey was done? I guarantee you that TV show would have been more successful if they actually had the two original actors. But no, they got impatient and got two fucking lookalikes. Hilarious. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway. All right. Vision said, I wasn't allowed to watch the second one when I was a kid because my mom thought it was evil. You know what? Visions, I can relate. Fears had to kind of watch it, on the sly. Because whenever I was growing up, my mom's very religious. My dad was very religious. I'm pretty religious. Sometimes I question things, but you're only human if you don't, question it. So, but yeah. So, anyway, I had to watch it on the sly Vision. So, apparently my parents were like, oh, okay, so Bill and Ted, won. That's cool. But I didn't tell my parents, hey, they go to hell, in the second one. So me and my brother, went to Blockbuster and rented it. I was like, oh my God, this is nuts. Like, they're fucking battling it out with the fucking Grim Reaper and shit, playing fucking Monopoly and Clue. But again, I don't think my mom and dad cared because it's just two idiots in the film battling it out with the fucking Grim Reaper. So, anyway. Yeah. Yep. But I gotta say, Visions, so if I had to grade Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, I would probably give it an 8. No, I'm not losing my religion, but everybody at one time for 10 Story has questioned everything, like, why am I here? How big's the universe? Does God exist, So, I still believe in God, I still believe in Jesus, but, those questions run through my head sometimes, But, yeah, I believe in Jesus, I believe in God. So, yeah. But, yeah, Visions, I had to watch it on the Hush Hush, too. But I would definitely give Bill and Ted an 8. But the first one, even though the second one had more effects in it, the first one I like more. So the first one definitely a 9 out of 10. The second one 8 out of 10. Because like whenever I was a kid, I was kind of bummed out. I was like, what fucking evil like robots kill Bill and Ted? What the fuck? But then I was like, yeah, I'm like Bill and Ted. I'm like they're gonna come back with a fucking thunder, and they're gonna fucking take down the evil fucking dude at the end. They're gonna take down the evil fucking robot. Well, Vision, that's nuts that you had to watch that film as an adult instead of watching it as a kid. I remember me and my brother sitting down and like fucking cheering Bill and Ted. Yeah, dude. You know, they're doing the fucking air guitar and shit, you know? The air guitar is fucking hilarious. I love it. It's great. Visions, you were not kidding. When you said classics, they are classics, my friend. Oh my gosh. Classics, classics, classics. But yeah, they're great. They're awesome. I love them. I'm trying to think, what's my favorite scene out of Part Deuce? Probably, there's a couple. When they talk the devil, that's pretty funny, you know? And they're like Ted's more dumber than Bill. And that's saying a lot because they're both dumb. You know, they're both dumb. They're both idiots. I don't want to call them idiots. They're just not the sharpest tools in the shed. But like I said, you're rooting for them. But Ted is way dumber. Because Ted's famous line is, now what? You know, now what? Like, Bill's more the talker. He's more the thinker. And Ted's like, yeah. Like, he's got this, like, Keanu Reeves played him so good. He's got this kind of like Dumb and Dumber look on him. Like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Now what? You know? Now what is watch those movies. Keanu Reeves says, now what? And halfway through Bill and Ted, halfway through, I think he says it once or twice in the third one, too. He's just not a real big thinker, you know? But so isn't Bill. But Bill is more of a thinker than Ted. But I'd say I've got three favorite scenes. The first scene, Visions, that I love is when they go to talk to, oh, what's the girl? Oh, Missy. Yeah, Missy's the fucking hot like chick like in both 1 and 2. She actually comes back for the third one, but the third one she's so old and she's kind of fat. She's not that hot anymore. But she was still hot in number 2 and hot in number 1. They're trying to communicate to her and she's doing some type of seance shit. That's not my favorite scene. My favorite scene comes next where they get sucked into hell and then they just keep falling for like 4 minutes. They're just falling and they're screaming. And then all of a sudden, Bill just looks at Ben and he goes, dude, this is a totally, like, long, big hole. And he's like, yeah, now what? And he's like, I don't know. And then they just start screaming again. They're like, hey, Bill, you want to play 20 questions? And then he's like, okay. And he's like, are you a mineral? Yeah. Are you a tank? Whoa, yeah, cool. You know, and then so they're just falling. So that film, or that part, Visions, that's my first favorite scene. That scene's fucking hilarious. The second scene actually is when they talk to the devil. Because it's hilarious. Like, they're like, okay, can we leave now? And then, like, the devil's like, you may go. And he's like, whoa, cool, yeah. And he goes, you know what? And he goes, you got a bad rap, but you're actually an okay dude, you know? Or some shit like that. And then the devil just hits a button. They go falling down this trap door. And I was fucking losing my mind. I was like, why in the fuck would you have a conversation with the devil? You're already in hell. Like, you already know that he's an evil motherfucker. So, like, why would you talk to him? You know, so that's why it was kind of funny. The third one is, like, the devil sends them to, like, their own personal hell. So every single door they go into, it's something from their past. Like, Bill goes into one, and he hated as a kid, like, kissing his grandma, which, by the way, the Alex Winter played not only Bill, but he played Granny Preston, you know? So he played the grandma. And not a lot of people know that, but I did some research before, and I found it on the internet. He actually played, and it says it in the credits, too. It says that he played both the grandma and Bill. So yeah, so they're in their own personal hell, and like Ted goes into one, and it's all pink, and then I guess this was a dream or whatever. He stole his brother's Easter basket, and all of a sudden, like a rabbit pops up, and he's like, Theodore, you stole your brother's Easter basket. And he's like, no way, this happened, 10 years ago. And then the Easter Bunny's like, uh-huh. So they're like trapped in their own personal hell. They both come out of the doors, and they're like, dude, this was non-heinous, which I guess in their language is like it's fucking bad. And then all of a sudden you hear the devil go, choose your own destiny. And this is the favorite part. All of a sudden Ted goes, choose your own, you fag. And then I guess the devil like shoots like a force field at him. And he goes flying back like this, hits a fucking wall. Then Bill's like you evil, blood-sucking motherfucking. And then he gets thrown back. That's my third favorite scene. Oh, it's fucking great. Fucking great. So if you haven't got a chance, guys, watch these fucking films because they are hilarious. Anyway, that's all my reviews for the night. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If there's nothing else, I'm going to take off because I'll be honest, I was so tired from last night's work. I slept for a couple of hours, did some errands today, and I'm going to take a shower. I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm going to get something to eat. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm either going to do a stream tomorrow or Sunday. So I'll let you guys know. And if I find out any more information about Sam, I'll keep you guys updated because I'm really worried about him. Sam, I hope you're doing all right, buddy. Hope you're doing okay. But yeah. So if there's nothing else you guys want to talk about, I'm sorry you missed the first part, Visions. But I was kind of telling everybody what was going on and why I've been bumming. And I'm trying to... What else did we talk about? Oh, I talked about how work was going. And I talked about... I guess I can retell a 10-second version of the Visions. Whenever I was in film school, someone found out that it wasn't any big surprise. My friend and me would always talk about movies that we loved. I'd be like, hey, man, what did you love? He's like, oh, man, Fears. I love the fucking Rocky series. And I was like, oh, yeah, those are fucking good. And he's like, well, which ones do you like? I was like, oh, I fucking love Ghostbusters and Back to the Future and fucking Bill and Ted and da-da-da, And I must have talked his head off about Bill and Ted, which I remember doing. But he would talk my head off about fucking Rocky, and he liked Lord of the Rings and shit like that. And I was like, I like Lord of the Rings. I like fucking Rocky, And then he goes, Fears, I got a surprise for you. And he goes, you know how like we put an ad in the paper and we put an ad like in our college paper about actors that we needed for our big college project? It was our senior year Visions, and the senior project was the whole class make a short film. They said it can't be longer than 30 minutes, but it can't be shorter than 5 minutes. So it had to be anywhere from 5 minutes to 30 minutes. And I think ours was around 12 minutes. It was either 10 or 12 minutes, somewhere around there. So it was like right in the middle. And I looked at the guy and he goes, oh, Fears, I got a surprise for you. And I was like, oh, yeah? What's that? And then he said, Fears, he goes, you know how like the first Bill and Ted was filmed a little bit in California and mostly in Arizona? And I said, yeah. He goes, we found somebody that's going to be in our short film that worked on the set. And I was like, really? I said, oh, no way. And this is a true story. I've got the evidence. It's either here or in Missouri. And I met her. Her name's Robin, and she was a stunt woman. And when that girl, Visions, when that lady flies through the fucking glass window at the fucking saloon? That's her. I met her. And she also did a few other scenes. Like, she was in the fucking convenience store scene. She was in some scenes at the end of the film. But I was like, oh, this is fucking great. And I remember she came up to me one day and was like, Fears, nice to meet you. I said, Robin, I said, this is so cool. I said, how cool was it that you were in that film? She goes, well, I heard you're a big fan. I said, I am a big fan of Bill and Ted. And she goes, well, I got a surprise for you. And she goes, well, someone told me how big of a fan you are. So she said, I went home and I looked through my photo album. She goes, because I took a lot of pictures. She goes, I did a couple of scenes in Bill and Ted. She goes, and then I helped. She goes, I helped behind the scenes on Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, but I wasn't in Bogus Journey. I just helped behind the scenes. And I was like, even that's still kind of cool. She goes, well, I took some pictures, and she goes, I went to Kinko's Fears and I made you a copy of all the pictures that I took. And I was like, that's so cool. I'm like, Robin, you didn't have to do it. So I've got behind the scenes photos of like Keanu Reeves and Alex Winters in their coats holding coffee cups on the set, Visions. And if I find them, I will show all the fans and you. I'll show everybody. There's a couple. There's a picture of, you know, the guy that played fucking Beethoven in the first film. He's standing outside the fucking convenience store. I guess he wasn't in that scene, but I guess Robin told me he came to set one day and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch this scene," and he was in full costume. Because I guess they were going to film his scene next after the fucking convenience store. So I've got a picture of him. I've got a picture of Robin with Alex Winters and Keanu Reeves. And then I got a picture of just Alex Winters and Keanu Reeves. They were either sitting outside the convenience store drinking coffee. I got about 10 behind the scene photos that probably no one's ever seen except for me and my buddies. Because then when I went home, I said, "Hey, Eric," because Eric loves Bill and Ted, my best buddy at home. He goes, "Eric, you're going to shit a brick when you see this." And he's like, "Fears, how the fuck did you get these?" And then I basically told him the story that I just told you. So I've got some behind the scenes of some Bill and Ted photos. I am not kidding. I am dead honest. I'm dead serious. So if I find them, I will show them to you guys because they're great. Vision says, "I'll have to rewind the tape and watch it from the beginning." Go for it, buddy. Go for it. Go for it. But I will find. They may be here. I don't know, because I have some. I brought some scrapbooks from home here. So if they're not in the scrapbooks, my photo albums here, then I know for a fact they're in Missouri. So when I get done, before I go to bed tonight, I will look through them. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to FearsMan26 and Fears Vlogs. Check out my buddy Visions, www.exhumevisions.com. Buy some cool merch. Check out Pixel, Lord of the Pylons on Pixel Protocol. Check out my buddy Randall at The Mayor of Magic. That's his second channel. And his main channel, Cameo Man 2021. And it's always a pleasure hanging out with my loving and loyal fans. Fuck the trolls. You know? Who cares about them? I don't. They're idiots. Anyway, Fears loves you. Fears cares about you. I'm signing off. Deuces!